minutes later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Guys, Mark here again, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel and you love cars, you might want to consider subscribing and kindly check out my playlist. Alright, so for today, we have no DIYs yet, but I just wanted to talk about with you guys what are the advantages and disadvantages of owning a small vehicle, or basically a small car. Alright, so for the advantages of owning a small car, I can give a few. I'm not sure if you guys agree. Kindly comment down below if you wanted to add other advantages of owning a small car. But yeah, or inputs basically on advantages of owning a small car, or basically a subcompact car. So number one would be, most of the time, of course, small cars gets better mileage compared to larger vehicles. Why? One would be small cars have smaller engines. Number two, it's lighter. So the lighter the vehicle is, the better mileage that you have. But don't quote me on this because it's case-to-case basis. It all boils down with the maintenance of the owner of the car. When it comes to gas mileage, it really doesn't matter. If the owner, let's say if the owner of a small car doesn't maintain his or her car properly, then it won't be fuel efficient. Okay. Number two, small vehicles is easier to maneuver and easier to drive when it comes to city driving, when you're stuck in traffic, and plus when you're going to a mall, maybe it's easier to look for a parking space because of its size. All right, so number three would be it costs cheaper compared to larger vehicles. Let's say in the Philippines, my unit, when I purchased it way back 2014, it cost me around roughly about 500,000 pesos. That's the cash value of the Hyundai Eon here in the Philippines. I'm not sure in other countries. That's the 0.8 displacement, or the 800cc engine Hyundai Eon. Number four would be, it's basically pancake when it comes to resale. Why? Because the price tag that usually comes with the small vehicles, it costs cheaper compared to like bigger cars. Okay, and last but not the least, I think we can add that small cars may be sometimes more reliable, I may say, because auto shops that sell the parts, of course, it's basic economics, cost and demand, right? If they see that there's a lot of small cars in the streets, then there's a lot of market for them. So what they'll do is, of course, they'll try to look for parts that is compatible, if not OEM, for that specific vehicle. Like let's say for a Toyota, since the Toyota is widely used worldwide, you can see parts everywhere, and because of the competition, you'll be able to purchase parts way cheaper, right? So those are the number six, if I may add. It's, for me, it's really fun to drive a small car. It's really when it comes to when you try to maneuver, it's really easy because of the small wheelbase and basically the size of the car itself. It's really fun to drive. All right, so we're done with the advantages. Let's go with the disadvantages. So these are the things that I basically observed because I myself is an owner of a small car. As most of you guys know, I own a Hyundai Eon, and I'm from the Philippines. So the disadvantages of owning a small car, number one would be, of course, if you own a small car, it has a basically less horsepower or smaller engine compared to a bigger car. It will it would take some time for you to reach like 0 to 100, and it would take you longer to get from point A to point B. Okay, but it on with number one, it actually depends on the person. Excuse me. For me, yes, some people might consider it as an disadvantage, but for me, I don't mind. As long as it gets me from point A to point B, I don't care if it would take twice that long. As long as it gets me from point A to point B, that's fine with me. Okay, so if you guys agree, let me know. Put a comment on the comment section below. Number two, since a small car has a basically tiny suspension system, it might not give you a smooth ride compared to the bigger cars because of the springs or basically the wheelbase of the car itself is really small, and the play basically of the suspension is not that good. So it sometimes on a bumpy road it could get rough. Okay, so that's the fact of owning a small car. All right, so number three would be, this is the least of my concern. So number three would be, if you own a small car and if you're a big guy like me, sometimes it looks awkward for some people, but for me, I don't mind because my car is like tinted and all. If I go down, and I don't care. I don't basically care what other people might say, as long as my car gets me from point A to point B, I'm happy. All right. And one disadvantage of a small vehicle, this is again a case-to-case basis, would be if you get involved, knock on wood, hopefully not, it's you will be put in danger on a higher level when you own a small car, because of the size itself. Basically, the gap in between the person inside the cabin and the door is really really small. So if you get sideswiped by a car or something, you can just imagine what would happen. And some of the manufacturers of small cars, most of them, if not all, are sometimes they don't include like airbags. If they do, they only put one for the driver. Those are the one of the disadvantage of owning a small car. So for now, those are the only things that I could think of and that I've observed. If you guys wanted to add something for the advantages and disadvantages, please let me know so we can learn something new. I hope you guys like the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, this is Mark. Thank you so much for joining me today, and you guys take care.